Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 59th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Wednesday, the 8th of April 2026. And how's everyone's day been? My day's been good. I had a succulent Chinese meal today, in the words of the late Jack Carlson. If you ever seen that Democracy Manifest video, I highly recommend it. It's a legendary video here in Australia. But yeah, I had my succulent Chinese meal today. Some Mongolian lamb. Or was it Mongolian beef? I couldn't really tell the difference, but I had that and Singapore noodles, and it was very nice. I had some, homemade rice because obviously I wasn't gonna buy, um, you know, actual rice from that place because it was quite expensive. But I don't mind their Mongolian beef, their Singapore noodles, and the other items they have on the menu. I used to remember those Chinese places. They used to give you like prawn crackers. Not a whole lot of places do that anymore, unfortunately. I guess they really like cut down. They used to give you like a complimentary bag of those, prawn crackers. You know the ones I'm talking about. Those like small pinkish things that you always get with like Chinese takeaway. I don't think they do that anymore. At least the restaurants I go to, and not to say the food's bad or anything. It's really good, but it's also quite expensive. Most of the restaurants I go to, and even takeout's getting quite expensive now. So it's really like a treat for me. Even going to like a fast food restaurant, it's a little treat for me because I love fast food, just in small quantities, right? And I like to just have, I guess, a taste of all the new menu items. But that's fast food. I'm just talking about Chinese food right now. But you know, all the Chinese restaurants I've been to here in Sydney are pretty good. I wouldn't really say I've been to a bad Chinese restaurant. Do they even exist? Like, have you ever been to like a Chinese restaurant where it's like so bad you don't want to go? Luckily, I haven't been through that. I know there'll definitely be, obviously, the bad ones and then the good ones, but you know, like all the Chinese food I've had, they've been pretty good. At least, it's been a while since I've been to a bad Chinese restaurant. Like, I'm like thinking in my head, man, I did not really like the food, the way they prepped it, sort of thing. I mean, there's definitely bad fast food joints that I've been to. As for Lebanese restaurants, though, I haven't been to like a bad Lebanese restaurant. They're all like pretty, banging, like right on the mark. Even something like El Jannah chicken. But wait a minute, I'm supposed to be talking about Chinese food. Why am I talking about fast food in general? I need to stay on topic. All right. So yeah, had some Chinese food, and you know I've been going to, I guess, Chinese restaurants or eating Chinese food since I was young because I always appreciated Chinese cuisine, even if it may just, be the usual, like rice, pork dumplings, whatever. And, it's simple. I like the job. I like, the, why did I say job? I like, I like it, it's sort of simplicity, but it's rich in flavor, sort of. You know, like rice, dumplings, Mongolian beef. Oh, that's really good. I love Mongolian beef. Singapore noodles. But it makes me think, why do they serve Mongolian beef and Singapore noodles at a Chinese restaurant? Those aren't from China, are they? Or were they invented in China, but they're like, it's Singapore style noodles or Mongolian style beef? That's a really weird thought. Maybe I should have done some research beforehand, the history of Chinese cuisine. But when you're at your local Chinese restaurant, you look through their menu and it just got like a bunch of dishes on there, like maybe like 50 or so, like at least 50, and they got like number one, number two, number three, and they always got like a mini picture on the side. And some of those dishes I never really tried before, but they look like really, really interesting. Like duck before. I never really had like roast or cooked duck. I want to experiment. Like I would like to try it out one day. Um, what else? Um, what else did they have on those menus? They got a lot of stuff, Yet again, the typical noodles and all that, but man, they got like I forgot what they were called, but it'll come back in my mind sometime. Maybe by the end of this video, or maybe at some random point in the series, it'll come into my mind a few Chinese dishes. Um, hmm. Oh man. So I'm not really like an expert on Chinese cuisine, so I'll move on from naming like specific dishes. Um, like I've always liked the experience of like going to Chinese restaurants, going, I guess, inside of the building, eating in. You have like the lazy Susan, where you can like pass dishes to another person by like rotating the table. And they always have like a great atmosphere. The theming, I think they do extremely well. At most of the Chinese restaurants I've been to. Theming, just the atmosphere. It's like quite. When I was young, it was quite affordable, but now it's a little bit on the more expensive side. But it's still like a good, I guess, um, you know, thing to do for your birthday party, social gathering, function. I guess it's like a very like cost-effective way to get a bunch of people all in together in like one single room and just do something for the night. Um, and like green tea as well. Whenever they're like, is green tea Japanese or Chinese? I don't want to sound racist or anything, but when they bring around the teapots, would you like some tea? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Why did I say that in a British accent? And now I said it in an Irish accent. No, I'm getting the accent wrong. Obviously, I want to do an Asian accent because that would be racist. But they're like, oh, would you like some? Would you like some tea, darling? I'll do it in a British. Why am I saying British when I'm rolling off the tip of an Irish accent? Uh, that's a pretty bad Irish accent. I don't know why. Sometimes my tongue slips and I accidentally do the wrong accent. Like when I'm supposed to do like German accent or like British accent, sorry, I accidentally do the Germans, yeah. But I'm like, I'm supposed to do a British accent. It's just my tongue doesn't know how to cooperate with my brain. But anyway, they're like, would you like some tea, darling? And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Obviously they don't sound British or anything, they just sound normal. But, whenever I associate tea with the British. And yeah, they just, pour you some tea, and the tea's quite nice. And, I guess, what other like experiences? Oh yes, at the Chinese restaurants, but they always got like that fish tank with the lobsters inside. Every Chinese restaurant I've been to, they always have that, fish tank. They've got the lobsters, in like this very small confined area. And I've never seen them grab a lobster out of the tank before. Not that I remember though. I've always wanted to see what happens to the lobster. Obviously, we know what happens, but I want to like see the chef pull the lobster out or the crayfish out or whatever's in that tank. And I'm like, you know what? I feel sorry for you, Mr. Lobster. You're gonna be in for a very, very nice dinner, let's say. I used to remember there was a Chinese restaurant near where I lived where they had like a mini like aquarium or like a fish tank with like other fish species inside. That restaurant's like long shut down, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they changed ownership. This was maybe like a decade ago. And yeah, I just remember, you know, um, just like in the waiting room, they would just have like maybe like one, two, maybe they even had like it had a few fish tanks, at least one, but I'm sure there would have been others, and they just have like different fish species. I don't think it was for food purposes. I think it was more display purposes. And I used to remember like most of my, I guess, birthdays were at like Chinese restaurants. Um, whenever I had like a birthday, communion, social gathering, or whatever, we just went to a Chinese restaurant because I like Chinese food and I still love Chinese food. It's very nice. Chinese cuisine, some of my favorite. and man, it's that time of night. Just trying to re-jog up my memory of today. I quite like the in dining experience. I like getting takeout, but I like dining in because you get like service. You can sit back, enjoy, um, the food, talking with other people. And, it's not like you get a discount by taking out food. The menu prices are pretty much the same, but when you dine in, I guess pay the exact same price for food, but you get like an experience with it. Meanwhile, takeout, I guess it's more convenient. Maybe you want to eat the food at home, but it's like, I guess you don't really get the experience. It's more like, yeah, I just need food now. I'm very much like into experiences. Rather than materialistic possessions, I'm into experiences. And I feel like you can knock two birds with one stone. If you go to a restaurant, not only do you, I guess, eat food, go from hungry to full, but you also get an experience out of it. When you sit in, you look around, talk to your mates, people around you, you get service, you look around at all the decoration and theming and, the whole atmosphere of the place. And I remember, going to a bunch of other restaurants like Lebanese, Japanese. Um, I've been to teppanyaki before, which is basically where you have like a Japanese chef who cooks in front of you, right in front of you. Like there's a grill and he cooks food for you. And places I've been to, they put on like a mini show, so they play like mini games with the audience. So like you get given a bowl, and the chef throws at you like mini pieces of um, rice or um, like salmon or chicken or whatever's on the grill, and you're supposed to like catch them all, and it's really really funny. If you ever been to one of those like teppanyaki places where they have like mini games, to try and make it more interactive, and I love it. When I'm holding the bowl and you get like 4 out of 5 targets, but then like there's like an egg that just splatters on the ground. And everyone's just laughing. That's like something I remember, like, I don't remember what I ate like 5 years ago, but I do remember a couple of years ago when I went to teppanyaki for my birthdays, that experience. And if you haven't been to teppanyaki, I know this is now talking about Japanese cuisine, but I'll highly, highly, highly recommend. Um, and I don't know if all teppanyakis places do that sort of mini game thing where it's like, they add you know, not only do they, I guess, do mini activities with the audience, but they sometimes put like oil on the grill, and then it's like a huge burst of flames for show. Um, I'm pretty sure teppanyaki actually originated around World War II-ish, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like a way to man, I'm a little bit foggy. I know it was a way, like a budget-friendly way, essentially, to cook meals for troops, essentially. And I might be wrong about that, but I think that's how I remember it. And always correct me in the comments if I get any like history or facts wrong. But yeah, I guess it's quite like a simple idea. You just have a bunch of people um, who I guess eat food right off the grill, prepared by the chef, and it's always a fun experience. And I quite like that sort of fun to it, and it's an experience to remember. And I guess to cap this video off, I quite like Chinese cuisine and Asian cuisine in general. Like Malaysian. Oh, I remember when I was in random memory. I remember when I was in Wellington, New Zealand, and there was this very nice Malaysian place. And oh my god, like the food was just piping hot, but it was like that perfect type of hot. I think it was like beef rendang, or would have been something with rendang. It just had like beef, rice, had like egg. It was like the national dish of Malaysia, I believe, and it was just delicious. I'm pretty sure it had like some um, like a potato piece, or it had like some form of curry or sauce or whatever. I forgot what it was called specifically, but it was like a sort of like a potato stew. I know I'm getting my terminology wrong, but I remember that whole meal was just lovely, lovely, and I really love like Asian cuisine. Um, from all parts of Asia, from like Lebanon to Malaysia to China to Japan to Korea to Taiwan. It's all like pretty banging, like spot on. And I quite like the um in dining experience. I like dining in at restaurants. As much as I love takeaway, I love just going to restaurants and just sitting down and getting to absorb that atmosphere. And I guess like I said, I'm more into like experience sort of things. Like obviously, the food is one aspect of the restaurant. Pretty much the reason why I go to restaurants is obviously to get fed. And the reason why I pick certain restaurants over others is the quality of their food, their portions, but it's also the experience. And I feel like, nowadays I think, the in dining experience has, I guess, been a lot more, I guess, diminished or a lot less prevalent because obviously, you've got the cost of living crisis, petrol's going up, not many people have, I guess, the money to spend on takeout or, I guess, a proper in dining experience. But to me, whenever I get to do it, even if it's just going to a pub, like um, I quite like it. And I always remember those experiences. I might not remember the food, but I always remember the experience. And um, yeah, as a kid, I always, you know, used to just feel so immersed when you went to a Chinese restaurant. You saw like how much detail they put into like the interior, making it seem so exotic. At least to me, that was because I'm not Chinese. I haven't been to China or anything, but um, just seems so exotic and just like so immersive. Name of a restaurant that has like that sort of theming to it. All other restaurants are kind of like bland, same old interior. But with Chinese restaurants, they put like a lot more, I guess, effort into the interior, and I quite like it that and even exterior, and obviously, like I said, it could be quite expensive. But to me, I much rather have like one good meal than 10 or 100 like bad meals, if you know what I mean. I prefer quality over quantity when it comes to that sort of food. But yet again, I do like fast food, so don't take my takes too seriously. But yes, thanks for watching. Like I said, now I believe it's been 2 months since I've started. We hit the 2 month milestone because it is the 9th of April. Did I say 8th of April? Did I honestly say 8th of April? I might have to rewind this because I'm not going to restart everything. I might have said 8th of April. It is the... Is it? I honestly forgot today's... Am I self-doubting myself? It might be the 60th video my video channel says. I don't know. Whatever the video title says. Now I'm just self-doubting myself. I should have checked beforehand. But anyway, I guess I'll catch you all later and see you next time. Bye. See ya. Take care.